One of the things that you most commonly hear about putting your baby to sleep, or if they have sleep issues, is, oh, you have to put them in the crib awake. And the biggest piece of feedback that I always get is, yeah, right. Like, how is that going to happen? I don't ever foresee my child going into their bassinet or their crib awake at all. They need to be completely passed out. What does that result in, mom and dad? It results in frequent night wakings, right? And this is what we're trying to solve. So today, I'm going to give you all of the info on how to put your baby or toddler in their crib or bed wide awake to ensure a longer night's sleep. Hi, my name is Sarah, and as the lead certified pediatric sleep expert at Yours on Baby Sleep, this is my jam. This is what I love. Teaching you how to put your child in their room completely awake and allowing them to fall into a really deep slumber and sleep throughout the night. And I can't wait to help you learn more about this topic. I'm cutting right to the chase because I am absolutely a no-frills, completely honest type of coach. When we put our kids in the crib awake, and we've never done that before, and they don't have independent sleep skills, this is what is called sleep training. However, I want to be very clear that sleep training does not mean cry it out. When we're talking about teaching our child a skill, anytime we're teaching them something new, there will be a learning curve. We have to almost equate this to when we start a new workout routine. You cannot expect that you go to the gym once for 5 minutes and that you can build tons of muscles to be able to lift X amount of weights overnight. And this is what developmental skills are as well. Walking, you need to develop physical muscles, but you also need to develop your brain muscles to remember the mechanisms of walking. It doesn't happen overnight, it happens over a period of time and with independence. So I really want to go back and equate this to the skill of walking. If your child hasn't walked yet and you're looking forward to teaching that skill, or if you're already beyond that stage, think about them walking. We are going to make sure the environment is nice and safe. We are going to make sure all of the sharp edges and corners are taken care of so they can't harm themselves. We're going to make sure that all of the toys and objects and things that aren't safe to play with are out of reach. Delicates are out of reach too, right? Like we don't want mom's china set sitting on the coffee table. And once the environment is set up, we're going to give our kids space to be able to walk on their own. And at first that might look like us holding them underneath their armpits, right? Or maybe holding their hands, or maybe holding one hand. And then eventually we're going to remove ourselves and we're going to back up a little bit more and give them the independence that they need to do it on their own. And what do we know is going to happen? They're going to fall. They are. They're not efficient. They are not masters at walking. It takes a while for them to master the skill. But because we've created a safe environment and because they know we're still there supporting them, they are able to strengthen that muscle memory and continue to walk with more confidence and independence. Take that visual I just provided and translate it to the skill of sleep. If your child is over the age of 4 months old, it is totally appropriate to assume that they can fall asleep independently and start to master that skill with the same amount of sleep environment, modifications, and support that you will provide or did provide when your child was learning the skill of walking. In order to make sure that we prevent as much crying as possible during this learning period, in the same way that you child-proofed your entire room or will child-proof your entire room when your child learns to walk, we want to make sure we put in those safeguards when our child is learning to sleep. Safeguards are going to look a little different aside from a safe sleep environment such as a crib that is free and clear of blankets and pillows if your baby's under the age of 12 months, or includes comfort objects such as a lovey or a stuffed animal if your baby is over the age of 12 months, dark environment, sound machine. All of those standards aside, the environment I want you to build is really based on sleep in a 24-hour period. That means that we need to make sure they're really well rested at every sleep phase so that when we get to the end of the day and bedtime, they're going to not be super overtired and they will be more tolerant of learning a new skill at this hard time of day. When you decide to begin the process of putting your child in the crib awake, that daytime, I want you to make sure you bulk them up on sleep in whatever way possible. Get them to take long naps on a schedule at consistent times, and I want you to move bedtime earlier. 90% of the people who I work with have a bedtime that's about a full hour too late than what it should be. I want you to look at your bedtime and I want you to get it as close to 7, if not 6:30 as possible, so that we can catch your child when they are just normally tired and have the proper hormone balance between their sleepy and their awake hormones and not in an overtired state. Then I want you to have a plan. There are many ways to support your child as they are learning the skill of falling asleep on their own. Again, let's talk about the walking. Sometimes we have our hands under their armpits, sometimes we're holding both hands, sometimes we're on the side holding one hand, and sometimes we're letting them go. This is the way we can approach sleep too. One size does not fit all, and there isn't one method that is going to work for every child. Every child learns differently, and you as a parent are going to feel comfortable teaching different methods to your children. So I want you to look at my resources on how to sleep train using chair method, how to sleep train using time checks. I have YouTube videos as well as blog articles that you can look through to see which method really aligns the best with you. Other methods that we can teach and we can use for sleep training would be pick up, put down. Generally, I recommend that only for babies up until 4, maybe 5 months. And we can use the method called full extinction, which is better known as cry it out. If you feel that your baby will learn best with that method, don't be afraid to use it. Do your research though and have a plan so that we make sure they feel really supported while we are running the method. We are then going to put our baby or toddler or preschooler in their crib or bed completely awake and follow the process. You've picked a method, they're really well rested, you know that there's going to be a learning curve. You are going to support them when they are crying, and you are going to know that they are totally safe. They are protesting because they're tired. They've never done this before, and they're quite frankly just annoyed that they have to learn this new skill. But just like every other skill that you will teach as a parent, this is one that's a great opportunity to establish lifelong healthy sleep habits that not only benefit your baby, but benefit your entire family too. I know you can do this, and I know your child can do this because I don't know them, but I do know that they are brilliant. They can be taught new things at any time, and in the course of less than a week usually, you should start to see that they are able to really master that skill of falling asleep by themselves at bedtime, and then continuing to work through any residual night wakings that you might see by consistently using that method that you have chosen for your family. All right, so what questions do you have about this? Because it's a loaded topic and there's so many different nuances. I want you to scroll to the bottom and write in the comments your questions or even your concerns about how you put your child in the crib or bed completely awake. On your way down, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Let me know that this content is helpful for you. And you'll see that I have lots of other resources listed on my website. YourZenBabySleep.com is the best way to get in touch with me regarding my one-on-one programs or to book a call to learn more about how to work with me. Finally, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know when I post my weekly sleep videos. As always, from my living room to yours, thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you again next time.